And I think a lot of us, even like second generation, third generation Italians in America, still have that donkey energy.
Italians are hard workers. That's one thing nobody can take from us.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, we're also assholes, but
in this industry. You're like,
so many people are mean on the internet.
Yeah.
There's so much malice, haters, whatever. It's made me be like, is this what we all are?
I got a BFA in acting and a BA in communication in college.
So you're so aware.
I'm super aware. Like if canned corn is getting hate comments, we're all
Oh, you didn't know that like people who eat canned corn have a genetic disposition to saying the N-word?
I found that out from my Lyft driver. Apparently, when you turn 35, your eggs start dropping, and because they want you to, reproduce, and so you're more likely to have twins or triplets or more. I wonder why there's like a poop stain in my underwear. I'm like, whatever. Might as well just go with it. And then she says this to me, Britt, and I still can never forget it. I'm so horrified by it. We have to save your underwear.
Size though, because this would definitely give me a yeast infection.
I hate going to the gym and I can't stand being set up.
It feels like I just had a one-night stand and I'm like, where's his bed sheet? Oh,
I have to also fix this because I'm on the other side of it where I very much so struggle with accepting help.
Oh yeah.
And hospitality and all these things. So even when I'm staying with friends, i.e. Lauren Lograsso, right, one of my very dear friends, and friends are like,
I tried to help for you like a million times.
And my default is just immediately like, no, I'm okay. Thank you so much. I'm okay. Thank you so much. I'm okay. But I'm like that with everyone. So I'm trying to work on being like, hey, like when your friends stay with you, you mean it when you say, help yourself to everything.
Right.
They mean it too, But I think I'm so afraid of that person. I'm so afraid of that person who is like, help yourself. Yeah, thanks. And like that person gives me the ick. And I never want to be that person.
Yeah. Well, you're not. And I think you have to start trusting what other people say. Like if someone is making an offer,
that's because they want to help you.
It's because they want to. And if they don't, that's their issue, not yours. Mm-hmm. It's like a codependency thing.
So I was talking to your lovely boyfriend about this when you went on your call afterwards, and we were discussing how hard it is to accept help. Sometimes I think when people help you or they do a favor for you as well too, you end up finding out that it was really more a favor for themselves and their ego. Like I think a lot of favors can be like self-serving too. So a story that I had told about taking help that backfired. What are you ready?
I'm just thinking about what you're about to tell.
No, it's okay. So I didn't get to tell you this because you had to hop on a call, but when I came down to Miami initially, I didn't have a car. And my mom and dad only have one because they're retired, semi-retired. They don't need it. So I would get limited access to that car or Uber, but it was okay, whatever. And there was a girl who, spoiler, no longer friends with anymore. She has a high turnover. That's one way of putting it. There's like a, this is my new best friend. And then suddenly you don't see anything 3 months later. In comedy as well, too. So I felt a little weird, but that's a whole other. Anyways, the entire time it was a quick friendship. She was very fun. With the time we had together was good, but it was always like, oh, I can come pick you up. I'll pick you up and I'll drive you there. Don't Uber. I'll come get you. And I'm like, but that's so out of the, no, I would never do. No, I'm fine. And she even commented one time and said, I always offer and I try to not take it personally when you say no. And I was like, I hope you don't take it personally. It has nothing to do with you, your car, or whatever. I never want to put people out. I really only like to ask for help if I really truly feel like I need it. It's probably something I have to fix. But like, it's not on you to spend your gas and your money to come out of your way to come get me because I don't have a car. And like, I was like, I don't need that. I'll pay for my Uber. I'm a grown woman. Totally. I take her up on it one time. One time I take her up on it because she wanted to go to a happy hour with comedians in Miami. And I said, I don't feel well, but I'll meet you later and she said, I don't want to go by myself. Please. And I kept saying, I really don't feel well. I don't feel like being at this event. She said, I'm in the area in Kendall. I'll come get you. I'm going to come get you and pick you up. Please just come with me. I don't want to go to this. So I say, fine. Also thinking to myself, like, I'm not leaving my friend hanging.
Yeah.
And
you think you're doing her a favor.
Because she so badly wants to go to this thing and doesn't want me to whatever, doesn't want to go alone. So finally she goes, no, I'm coming to get you. I'll come get you. I said, fine, I'll go with you. And then once our friendship fell out, for just like, she accused me of stealing a joke, which as a comic to comic is like insane. And I was like, you're out of your mind if you think I stole from you, but whatever. Number one thing that she told everybody was, oh, she used to use me for rides. Number one thing. I took her up on a ride one time. So that's like, and I was telling your lovely boyfriend that that's also part of my like PTSD with asking for help from people.
Right.
Because I think I've had people that in the moments where I've said, okay, I'll crash. Okay, I'll take the ride. Okay, whatever. It's gotten thrown in my face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
and granted, I know that was her way of processing the end of our friendship to be like, well, I feel like she used me for rides. I'm like, you mean the one time but I don't like asking for help.
Yeah.
Long story short.
Well, I have a few thoughts about that. First of all, I feel like you should never do something kind if you're expecting anything in return or even any sort of like, thank you. Like, do it because you want to, not because you think somebody's going to give you something back on the other end.
I actually think it's fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
Like anytime people give to receive or no matter
That's not what the Bible said.
That's not what the Bible said. Take it from two Italian Catholics.
Yeah, we know. We went through the catechism.
We know. If anybody knows, it's the two CCD traumatized graduates over here. Okay. And number two, it's also like your relationship with somebody can change.
Yeah.
But you being a kind and generous person doesn't. So yes, you might be like, I feel like I was taken advantage of because I helped this person at this time. But no, you helped them because you wanted to.
Right.
And that's the whole point of kindness. So yes, I agree. I think it's disgusting to throw it back in somebody's face after you help them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially, like, I always think if you're going to say something mean on my worst day because of something nice that I thought you were doing for me, like, ew, just gross. I agree with you.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, do you think that this is Italian at all? Because I have a lot of Italian friends that very much share the same thing where we have a hard time letting somebody do something nice for us, especially Italian women.
Maybe. I think I think Italians came to this country and you and I have talked about this.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't think, very widely known like how much hatred there was against it. He's Italian as well.
Yeah,
so he's
especially
Italian
Sicilians.
Especially Sicilians because we had darker skin color. We were the dirty Sicilians and we're both very Sicilian. And I think Italians quantified their value in this country by like working hard and not getting in anyone's way.
Yeah.
So maybe that's where that comes from. I don't know. That's interesting though. Yeah.
Well, something you just said sparked me because I got this like energetic reading from she does tarot and a bunch of different things. And she told me my mission in this lifetime is to leave the energy of a donkey.
Oh.
And rise up to the energy of a queen. Like that's like old energy that I'm pulling down from past generations. And I really know how to work and I can work and work and work and work and work and work myself to the ground.
Yeah.
But like what I'm meant for in this lifetime is to like.
To ascend.
Yeah. And I think
elevate.
a lot of us, even like second generation, third generation Italians in America still have that donkey energy.
Oh, I 1,000% do.
Yeah.
I mean, look at my agent today. I love him. And he said that he set my schedule around to like other people in the department. And I have 3 spots tomorrow night in LA. And somebody was like, I think there's a typo. Like, she doesn't have all these on Thursday, September 12th. And he goes, no, she's just a maniac. He's like, she does have 3 shows in one night. But yeah, like it's 1,000%. Like, and I have had to really I have had to separate my value as a human being from how much I work and how well my sets go because it's really ingrained in me.
Yeah.
And I really run myself into the ground and I've sacrificed my health just for the sake of the hustle, like truly and seriously, like we were talking about off camera. And I do think it's tied to Italians are hard workers. That's one thing nobody can take from us.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, we're also assholes, but no, I'm kidding. What else do you think about being Italian? What else are we known for?
Good cooks. Do you cook?
I do cook. I mean, I don't cook a lot because I'm never home around dinner time and I live with my mom and dad in Miami. So I'm either eating takeout on the road or I do enjoy my mother's cooking at home. But I'm a better baker than a cook.
Oh, that's good. Together we could be very powerful.
We could.
Here we are.
An empire, some would say. We could ascend together.
We could.
Yes. Yeah, good cooks. Yeah.
Good cooks, passionate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Passionate, direct.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's something I've learned being with an Irish man.
Really?
Yeah.
Are
Irish, they shut it down. They push it right down. Whereas Italians, we're like Mount Vesuvius. We've got it coming right up. They're like pushing it down all the time.
Repressed.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
That makes
so
sense.
It's good because he's taught me that sometimes I don't have to say every thought that's on my mind. And I think I've taught him he can say some of the thoughts on his mind.
That's why you guys are so complimentary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's like not everything needs to be shared.
Yeah.
But then also you're teaching him like some of the stuff that you're not sharing is killing you inside. And that's okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I guess we are very direct. We're just very talkative people.
Yes.
as
So
well,
talkative. Warm.
Warm.
Honestly.
We are warm. Yeah.
Going to Sicily, I'll tell you, Britt.
Yeah.
I always thought like I'm such a freak. I'm like so out there and like I'm always hugging, kissing people and I just love people. You're just Sicilian. Like when you go there, you really realize like, oh, this is why I am the way I am.
Oh, I say I love you to people.
Yeah.
Like I was on a Zoom with
Love you guys.
somebody I don't know like super well, but I met through work remotely. And then we developed like a nice little friendship. Like we will keep in touch and talk about our lives on top of work things. I would say primarily a work friend, but we had such a great, it's a girl too. And we had such a great Zoom catch up that I was like, love you at the end. And I definitely saw her face kind of go like,
Thank you so much.
have a great week. And I'm like, but I do as much as I can be like very like hateful and jaded, I really also, I can
You're not
be.
really hateful and jaded. I think you're hurt because sometimes, I was actually just talking to my mom about this on the way here.
Okay.
Oh, also, we're very close to our mothers.
Oh, and well, the men are too close.
Yeah, too close.
Too close.
And
Yeah,
we probably are too.
yeah.
But,
Yeah.
on the way here, I was talking to my
I'm a
mom.
33-year-old woman who's like texting my mom.
Yeah.
So I've been in LA for a week. I'm like, I miss you. Where are you? And she's like, okay, all right, okay. But yes, go ahead. Yeah. Talking about.
So I was talking about how I feel like sometimes maybe I'm like too nice for my own good. You know, like I'm always thinking about people and like, how can I help them? Like, what could I do to like, oh, this person has a dream over here. Like, let me see who I could introduce them to. And sometimes when like other people don't do the same for me, it really hurts. And the truth is like, it's nobody's responsibility. Like if I don't ask somebody to do something, it's really not their responsibility.
Yeah.
But because that's how I move in the world.
It's always hurtful when
It's
you realize
hurtful.
people don't.
Yeah. And I think the same thing goes for when somebody does something hurtful to you, like purposely. So this is different than what I was just talking about. But when somebody does something purposefully hurtful to you, which I know you've encountered a lot of in this industry, you're like shocked by it because you would literally never even have the thought to treat someone that way or to say the thing that person said.
Oh.
And then when they say it, not only are you hurt by the thing, you're hurt by the sheer shock that a human being could treat another human being that way. And I think that's what makes you angry. It's not that you're a naturally angry person.
Yeah.
You have a strong sense of justice.
Yeah, I do have big time. I don't know if that's the Aquarian in me or what it is, but like
I have that too.
When something is wrong and nobody's speaking up, doing anything about it, just gonna let it happen, I get like it really does. And I've had to really like check myself for my own mental and physical health and be like, this isn't my problem. It is a problem.
Right.
It's not mine. I need to just walk away. But like an example of that, like lack of kindness, I don't even know if I've ever talked about this on the show, but this isn't even in my business per se, but I run some monthly shows at hoity-toity membership clubs in Miami.
That's not what they're called.
No, but that's what they're called for the purposes of this
Okay,
podcast.
cool.
Hoity-toity membership clubs, because I want to still get paid by them. But and one of them, I'm not going to say which one, is very wealthy and very elevated, and those tend to be tough crowds for anybody. Like unless you're in that income bracket, that's hard to like relate to those people, and so on. So, and they're also hard to perform comedy for, as you can imagine. It's like the poor man's art form. Yeah. And then you're doing it.
You're like the literal jester for them.
For the king's court, quite literally. And there was it's always a little tense, and they're not the best crowds, but it's a nice whatever. And these two women are having a full-blown conversation in an intimate room where my friend is on stage. Like, I mean, loudly. My friend's been on stage now 6-7 minutes. It's clear the show has started. They don't give a shit. So I walk over and I'm like, hi, ladies, excuse me. And I immediately am met with like,
no.
Yeah. And I'm like, just like the show has started. That's actually our MC. I go, if you just don't mind. Oh, we're literally laughing. In my head, I'm like, bullshit. No, you're not. I'm like literally watching the two of you have a full-blown conversation loudly. And I said, totally. I said, I just want to make sure like the other members are able to enjoy the show and everybody feels. And this woman goes, I'm just, so, and I'm being as delicate as I can. And she literally goes, yeah, that's enough, little girl. You could leave.
No.
Yeah. And her hand gets little girl. And her hand gets like an inch. She goes, that's okay, little girl, fall back. You could leave. An inch from my face. It was a level of like rude, mean, I don't even know the word and we're pretty quick and we're pretty feisty and direct. I literally was like, like I didn't even have like I couldn't believe people were really that mean.
Yeah.
And I know that they are. But when it happens to you, you're like,
shocking
it's
sometimes.
actually shocking and jarring. And I was like, am I in a movie? Like, what's going on? And I literally looked so rattled. My friend was like, are you okay? I was like, something fucking bizarre just happened.
Did
like,
you talk about it on stage?
I did. Well, they ended up being really embarrassed because I went up right afterwards. And when I got on stage, they were like they did not realize it was my show. And that I was like, and I said something like lightly that the crowd didn't know, but they knew it was a jab at them. And they got up and left. But it was, yes, to your point. I just say that to say when you encounter it, you're like, I didn't know people are actually that mean.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then you think of comebacks the next day in the shower and like weeks ago. I mean, listen, I think I heard
Hi, the producer is coming. Hi.
She's like, and then I would come back at them and I'd say this, and then they'd say that, and then I'll say this, and then I'll say that.
Weird. Or whatever. And I'm like, but in actuality, I'm not a mean person. So I was like, yeah.
Yeah, you just think of ways you could stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
I heard Nelly Furtado once call that latent emotionality.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
It's true. Like sometimes I don't have the proper reaction to something until like a week later.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it would have been so good if I knew that
If I knew that then. But I also think like we're yes people. I think we are. And we're very, and it always comes from a good place. It's always like, I even in less extreme scenarios, I'll be like, oh my God, yeah, ha, 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 after somebody, little pet couch comedian. What I told you about. But in the moment, I'm like, ha. And then afterwards, I go, that's so not okay. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Because you want to be likable and warm in that moment and agreeable. And then you're like, wait.
Well, also, sometimes you have to think about what am I actually trying to get here? Like, if all it is that I'm trying to stand up for myself and say what is correct, and I don't care about the kind of reaction they're going to give me, then fine, say whatever you want. But if you're looking for something from someone and they don't have the emotional capacity to give it back to you, it's kind of like, why would I waste my energy trying to get some sort of response out of them?
Yeah, and I feel like that's talked about a lot in romantic and sexual relationships, and it's underrepresented in platonic and professional relationships, what you just touched on. Yeah. Like that comes up a lot in dating rhetoric. Like if you're available for this emotionally and not getting it, why would you waste your, but I mean, I think we do that with a lot of friends.
We do that online.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when people write mean things. Like I used to go to such lengths to people, because I didn't have a lot of people. I mean, I'm mostly sharing like positive stuff. So like there's not a lot to say. But when somebody would, I would go to such lengths. And it was kind of cool what I would do. I don't have the time for it anymore. Yeah. But I would like it. I would like comment back something nice and then I'd follow them. They never saw that one coming.
Yeah, they're really kindness kills over that. They're looking, they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Like, they're like, this girl I was just mean to is now, she's now in my home.
That's so true.
In the house.
Now I can see everything that you do. Yeah, I have internet trolls that literally say horrific things. Like they still follow me and they will like what I post. And they'll be like, just waiting for you to finally be funny one day. And I'm like, you still follow me.
Yeah.
Like,
you should reply back, always nice to meet a fan.
Yeah. I go, thanks for the engagement.
Yeah.
One guy I commented back and I was like, babe. Yeah. I was like, babe, heart. Yeah. Like, it's just because it's so deranged. But I also think the internet, you know what the internet has made me really fearful of? And I know it's exacerbated and it's so much easier to say these things behind a phone, but so many people are mean on the internet.
Yeah.
There's so much malice, haters, whatever. It's made me be like, is this what we all are really like? Like, is there more malice and mean-spirited people? Like, because I generally do think people are pretty good. Like I really do think that human beings lean towards good. But when you see how quickly people are able to jab and say horrific things on the internet and how many people are doing it, it makes me be like, oh my God, is everybody capable of that? Is that what everybody's actually thinking?
Definitely not. And so I got a BFA in acting and a BA in communication in college.
So you're so aware.
I'm super aware.
I'm very available.
I have 2 pieces of paper. It's amazing. But I remember in my communication classes, they taught us that it's impossible to feel empathy online. Because you can't, like, if I said something mean to you right now and I saw the reaction on your face, I'm going to feel that and feel bad. But if I say something mean to you when I'm just typing and it's just on a picture and I don't ever have to really confront you about it or like engage with you.
Yeah, you're shadow boxing.
Yeah,
you're fighting your own shadow.
So I don't think people are worse, but I do think they're less emotionally aware and like whatever emotional intelligence they have, they're cut off from online.
Yeah.
If they're not careful.
Their internal monologue can just kind of fucking run amok, I guess, as well, too. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You know what? That makes me inspired to shoot a sketch that I thought of. And I've been really thinking about shooting it. And it's somebody sitting down on their phone, checking their phone. Somebody says something horrific, right? That's what and like, capturing that, and this person probably has like a really distinct cowboy hat or tattoo or look, and you see it, and then I want to like shoot the second part of the sketch is they end up running into each other at a coffee shop. They live in the same neighborhood, and one or the other one like card gets declined, and they have a random act of kindness like, don't worry, I'll get your coffee, and hit it off, and then the person turns and realizes like, oh, are you Pizza Guy 69XX? Like she realizes that like, and it's like basically to show like the online troll offline. Yeah. And it's like, oh, look, they were able to be so nice to each other. What the fuck happened in this comment thread? So yeah.
I will say too, when I was doing my like, you know, nice comment back, then follow move, people would either delete the comment or they would reply back to me and be like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it. Like, I really shouldn't have said that. I'm having a bad day. Yeah. So I think a lot of times people just feel really bad about themselves and are looking for attention. And they do it in a way that's totally awful. Yeah. But it's coming from a place of pain.
Then it feels like low stakes because, again, you can't see that person's empathy.
Yeah.
You can't have empathy. You can't see that person's reaction or hurt or pain to it. Yeah.
Also, people will be mad over anything. Like if you follow food bloggers are my secret passion. Like I want to be a food blogger, and like,
I totally see it.
Yeah. It's my fake dream. But
I like it. Yeah.
I look in the comment section sometimes of the food bloggers and the hate they get over the most random things. Like this girl was making a salad and she used canned corn, and she was getting like hundreds of comments about like what an asshole she was for using canned corn. And it's like, if even the food bloggers
that's so absurd.
Can't make it work. Like, there's no hope for the rest of us. You post something political, post something that's like slightly controversial. Like, if canned corn is getting hate comments, we're all fucked.
Imagine having an opinion about anything else. Yeah. Imagine showing more of your body online. Right. Imagine anything else.
But I also think there's a real... I don't know the right word for it. I want to say like a disease, because I do kind of think it's a disease and it's insidious in this country especially, but in the world in general, where people think you have to agree with someone to like or love them. You don't need to agree with somebody to think somebody is a worthy human or a person that you want to get to know or someone that you want to support. Yeah. You can disagree with someone and still love them. Yeah. And you don't actually like get your point further by not engaging with people who think differently than you.
I totally agree. And I would blame both social media, and I just think politics has us conditioned to think that like you have to agree with somebody on everything, and if you don't,
they're bad.
They're bad. Yeah. Well, the most rich relationships that I have and interactions and conversations I have are actually filled with like contention and disagreement and a disharmony or whatever. I mean, like when I worked in radio, you were literally trained like one of you should take the other side, if only to show whatever the other side of that is.
Yeah, I'm gonna start disagreeing with you right now.
Right, exactly.
That's bullshit. Brittany.
Exactly. Corn on the cob over canned corn. Fuck this. Exactly. Like too much agreement.
Yeah, it's not interesting to listen to.
It's not interesting to listen to. It's not. So it was like, even if you don't believe this, try to take that other side. But I mean, I also think that's all self-projection. Like we all, especially with how on edge everything is in this country and election year and everything else, we're so afraid to be wrong. I'm
afraid.
I'm afraid.
Yeah.
I'm so afraid to even comment on things that aren't political. I mean, I'm talking like entertainment, pop culture, canned corn.
Canned corn.
You fucking name it. And like because I actually have a real fear that somebody is going to be 2 articles ahead of me online and jump in and be like, oh, you didn't know that like people who eat canned corn have a genetic disposition to saying the N-word and they like to, or something like, and I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I didn't know that.
But
like,
you know
why?
what? It's
Like,
okay
are you
to
talking
not
about? Like,
know something. Like, if you're coming from a pure-hearted place,
yeah.
it's all right to not know. Like the idea that we have to know everything or speak for everyone every time we speak.
Yeah.
Like there's such a feeling online right now that if you say something and you don't acknowledge every person that could possibly exist that doesn't have that exact experience you're talking to from your own experience, that you are now bad. It's like, that's not a natural way to converse.
No, it's not.
And
at
it's
all.
good to acknowledge people. There has been a lack of acknowledgement for too long.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's okay to just speak from your perspective.
Yeah, that's very true. I actually even caught myself doing it. I found some like douchebag Miami influencer who owns a gym. He posted some
Not a gym.
Of course. A Miami Grand Theft Auto guy owning a CrossFit gym. Never. But he comes online and he has this video and it pops up in my algorithm. I don't even follow him. And he's basically saying like anybody who uses ClassPass to sign up for their workouts, they're late, they're lazy, they're unprofessional, they're whatever. And I caught myself almost joining the comment thread to be
I
like,
thought you were going to say joining ClassPass.
yeah, right. Well, I'm on it. So I almost caught myself joining and being like, I use ClassPass and and then I was like, whoa,
I
Brittany.
was majorly triggered during this past season of Summer House, and I almost became a troll because I was so triggered by the show.
Yeah.
Because it rhymed with things that I had been through in past relationships.
Oh, wow.
That I was like literally ready to go on one of the characters' profiles and write mean things to them. And that is so out of character for me. And I had to,
That's actually like
I was
the opposite of
typing.
Lauren.
I was typing and I was like, who are you?
What's happening?
This is not okay. This person is a real person. They've made a caricature out of them on the show.
Yeah.
And you have absolutely no right to go in and judge them. You need to take this to therapy, which I did. I took the reality show to therapy and me and Jessica, my therapist, worked through it.
I love that because I caught myself last night. I posted something about abortion after the debate, which I did not watch. I do plan on watching, but maybe not. Who knows? Whatever. That's a whole other thing. But
It's on Peacock.
I just can't
Shout
believe
out.
that Donald Trump said that people are aborting babies in the 9th month.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, that's
Or eating dogs and cats.
in Springfield, Ohio. And I literally tweeted, I was like, I didn't watch the debate, but apparently trans people are eating dogs and women are murdering babies. But I posted something about abortion. This got off the rails. And some guy that I never engage with, I guess I followed at some point because we worked like a modeling gig in Miami together. What it goes, and I said, it was basically the thing about how like Trump said you could abort babies at the 9th month. Anyways, scientifically wrong, regardless of your political. Or after birth. Like, you mean murder? Like, you mean school shootings that you guys will do nothing to regulate? Okay. He goes, well, the Democrats would love if you could, he says. And I caught myself going, no, they wouldn't. You're a fucking moron. It's about a woman having full autonomy over her body. Go read a book.
Did you
He's
write
like,
that?
Yeah,
too?
I did because I got so upset. And he was like, kind of like your vaccines, right? And I was like, you Republicans would rather murder the kids in the school shooting than ever. And I just went, but I had to like,
Yeah, but like that's not going to get us any further. And I love you and I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But like we're not going to further any of our points by being like, you're bad. No, you're bad. No, you're bad.
I'm with you.
It's just like we're further grinding down. Like,
Yeah.
that is not going to get us out of anything. We actually have to try to understand each other, which sucks because I don't want to understand somebody
wanna
who has different
rationalize.
values. But guess what? You're
That's
not going to
life.
get that guy closer to your side by not.
You're 100% right. And I actually just think I had a really visceral reaction
I know.
to spending too much time on the internet and it being the debate and being tired.
It is.
And,
It's a big time.
and I just like had this knee jerk. And
Yeah.
then I caught myself and I just blocked him. I just removed him as a follower and blocked him because I was like, I can't engage. It's not. But also too with certain issues like that, I actually swore to myself and I broke a promise to myself with this, that people who think that about abortion, that issue specifically, sensitive one for me.
Right.
But people who think that about abortion, I won't have those conversations. I will have a productive conversation with you if you
Can.
if I can. And if it's you are untethering yourself from beliefs in your religion, that's why it's hard for you to wrap your head around the pain of abortion. Oh, I'll have that conversation all day. And we can be productive about it. But if you are literally going to defy science and be like, well, they're removing the limbs from the babies at 9 months old and murder. Like, I actually made a promise to myself last year that I was like, don't even talk to those people.
Because that's for you. That's for your mental health. Like, you are not going to convince that person. There's no conversation you can have with that person.
Right.
For your own mental health, you need to just disengage and send them love and send them on their way.
Right. So that's why I was like, hey, if somebody genuinely, I'll even hear people out who I obviously don't like Trump, you know, what, but I will listen to my friends who vote for Trump and like Trump if they're coming from an informed perspective. But yeah, like on that issue, I was like, oh wait, I'm literally shooting myself in the foot by arguing with someone who thinks that abortion is beheading babies.
Yeah.
Like that's
There's no reason.
I can't do the job of your middle school science teacher.
Yeah.
I can't. Like somebody fails.
But
you
is
in
it
bio-
open, by the way?
Yeah,
Because
right.
it sounds great.
I mean,
Let me see.
Okay.
Transitioning.
Good segue. Because Lauren is an exceptional podcast host and producer and singer-songwriter and creative. You also are a thought leader. I really am glad that you're getting into public speaking.
Thank you.
I think that's so you.
It feels good. Feels good to speak publicly, finally. After all this time being such a church mouse, I've stepped out. No, but it feels good to do it in an intentional way. I've wanted to do it since I was little. You know, literally in high school, I was always like, I'm going to be an inspirational speaker someday. But I really thought I should live some life and have something to speak from. So that's what I've done.
That.
And I'm 35 now,
that.
and I feel like a old badger.
Well, after all your
Is
eggs,
that a saying?
after all your eggs have dropped and you're ready to have
That's
triplets
right.
at any moment.
I found that out from my Lyft driver. Apparently, when you turn 35, your eggs start dropping, and because they want you to, reproduce, and so you're more likely to have twins or triplets or more. So,
'Cause there's more eggs
but she
hanging-
made me feel good about it because she was like a series regular on a show. She was out of work at the moment because she was doing some
Lauren
lift.
to get her whole life story.
She's doing a little bit of lifting to just make ends meet. But she had the best kids. She had 2 older girls and 3 triplets. 2 of them were boys, 1 girl. And she said she had the best life. And she never even wanted kids. And she loved it. And she's an actress. She's pursuing her dreams.
There had to be a moment, though. I'm going to play devil's advocate. There had to be a moment when she found out she was pregnant with triplets and she was about to go from not 2 to 3 kids, 2 to 5 kids.
Well, so
there had to be a moment.
Do you want to
where
hear the story? Because I have the whole story. It was amazing.
Let's do it.
Okay, shout out to Mia, wherever you are. So she was on the way to the hospital. She told them that she didn't feel good. And because you can't really get an ultrasound before 10 weeks. And so she was 6 weeks. And so she was like, I'm not feeling good. Can I please come in? I think something's wrong. And she prayed to God on the way there. And she goes, okay, God, I'm going to get an abortion unless I'm having twins. If I'm having twins, I will keep the baby. And when she got into the hospital and they started doing the ultrasound, the lady goes, oh my gosh, there's 3 heartbeats. And so she was like, all right, God.
I guess that's the sign.
Yeah, that was her sign.
Oh
so
my
she did not want any more kids. She was ready to be done, but she, for some reason,
If they were twins.
made
or
that
triplets.
agreement. And so when it was triplets, she was like, well, that's a triple whammy.
God's like, well, if you're okay with twins, I'll do you one better. Here's
Yeah.
a third. I can only imagine being pregnant thinking you're having one and then you're pregnant with triplets must be like when you go to a vending machine and you put a quarter in.
But I'm always excited then. And when
yeah,
I used to
I'd react differently with kids. Yeah, I'll tell you that.
When I used to
yeah.
play the game of life when I was little, I used to steal kids. But I would be very fine with just having one baby. That would be great. I mean,
I
we're both
want
only
to.
children.
See, only children.
See? See now?
Look at us disagreeing without breaking
Oh,
our friendship.
gosh.
Look at us disagreeing. Groundbreaking,
Yeah.
really. I want at least 2 because I selfishly, and I'm saying this completely selfishly, I want to live vicariously through my children and experience the camaraderie of having a sibling.
Oh, that's sweet.
I want to see that and foster that. And I also would like to see how personalities develop. I also would want them to grow up. I loved my childhood and I love that I'm an only child. I've accepted it, embraced it. We both have. But I want them to have that relationship with each other, especially now that I'm older and I'm taking care of my mom and my dad.
Well, that's my main reason for thinking 2 is okay.
Yeah.
Because I would be thrilled with 1. I would be good with 2. I think you should not be outnumbered. So I don't really believe in 3 unless it happens.
Oh, yeah, you are
naturally.
outnumbered.
You're
You and your
outnumbered.
husband.
Yeah.
Unless one of you's having an affair, then it evens
And
out.
then it's even
And
out.
then it evens
If you
out.
want to get into a throuple, you could really make that work. That's the only reason I can see for a throuple, because you have the extra help.
That's the only reason I could see.
It could be nice to have the extra help
we
in the
didn't
house.
get clarity on if Mia, the Lyft driver, was polyamorous or not, but we should circle back with her on that.
Let's see what Mia's up to. But yeah, I think too, for the dark reason of like, I am terrified to bury my parents alone.
Yeah.
And so to have two would mean that they wouldn't have to go through that by themselves.
That's what's making me reflect on it now, because my dad has Parkinson's and it's advancing, and my mom is just stubborn and in denial, but also getting older, doesn't want to take care of herself or even look at her own health. Again, we'd had a long conversation in your kitchen about this. Like, you could be a good present daughter and child to your parent, but you also have to draw a fine line between like what you cannot fix. Yeah. It is not yours to fix, and it doesn't make you a bad kid. That's a whole, we
could do a whole podcast about that. The responsibility that only children feel to make sure their parents are okay. Like, all I want is my parents to be okay and happy
and healthy.
Yeah.
And feel good.
And I feel like it's almost opposite of like how parents usually are with their kids.
Yeah.
Like, you feel that for your parents. And I also never want my parents to feel like I don't have balanced love between the two of them. It's something I'm very concerned about.
Oh, really?
To make sure that my mom and dad both know I love them equally.
Oh, that's so cute. I love that. I love that. I think my dad knows I love them equally, but I think he's accepted and he's totally okay with the fact that my mom and I have a weird bond.
Yeah.
That he and I won't ever have, but not in like a deficit. Like, just as what it is.
It's just different.
It's just different. And I also feel, and I have Italian guilt over this too, choosing a creative career path, doing very well now, but also being the farthest away from marriage and kids. There's a lot. And also choosing to do stand-up later in life. I feel like I'm rushing against the clock. I want to accomplish a lot that while they're here and alive and healthy and can see it.
Oh my gosh. I saw a movie last night. This guy, he finally he did his first directorial debut.
Yeah.
And in the credits, it destroyed me. At the end, it said, like, he gave all the thank yous, and it said, and for mom, who would have loved all of this.
Oh my God. I know.
And I couldn't I was just sobbing in the theater.
I would be,
and I think about that all the time. Like, but I do think no matter whatever we're doing, they will find a way to enjoy it. Like, when I was little, my mom used to say to me, Lauren, no matter what happens, I will always be with you. Like, no matter what happens, even when I'm not here on earth, I will always find a way to be with you. And I believe that.
I believe that strongly.
Yeah.
I think my grandmother's with me all the time. I think my aunt is with me all the time. Like, in so many, I totally, I cried leaving my mom. Like,
to come here?
To come here.
Aww.
This is a week and a half, and it was a long trip. And
That's
I was like,
so
I'm just
sweet, Britt.
really gonna miss you guys.
Isn't it beautiful to have love like that?
It is, but it's also terrifying.
Yeah.
It is
very
terrifying.
challenging.
And we're also, as human beings, whenever we have a love that deep, we also immediately, our first thought is to think of what if it goes away? What if these people die?
Yeah.
What if I don't see these people?
I told my parents they're not allowed to die, so try to challenge me.
I told them that too. I said, you got to hang on until there's a Netflix special or a grandkid or both. And they were like, all right. But also and this is where our parents are, like, I'm very fortunate. Like, I feel like I haven't made it yet, and I want them to be alive to see me make it. Yeah. And my dad was like, you're my favorite comedian. You've made it. Like, there's nothing else you need to do. Like, you've made it. What are you talking about? And it's, anyways. But this also makes me realize I went to therapy a lot in my 20s. Yeah. For shit that was like a phase. Yeah. And I'm like, now I need to be back in therapy in my 30s because this is like real shit. Yeah. That I want to tell. I need to tell a professional. Like, I feel like I'm running out of time to really make my parents proud of my father's illness.
Well, isn't that interesting that like we still feel like that? Because I feel like that with my mom is obsessed with me, but my dad
parents are too. Yeah.
I feel like I still want to prove myself too.
Same.
I said that to Timmy the other day, my boyfriend. I was like, I just want to make my dad proud. Like, I want him to know that, like, I'm capable of taking care of myself and I'm going to be okay no matter what. And, like, he can stop worrying about me. Yeah. And it's just interesting. Yeah. Like, that hasn't gone away. If anything, it's more present than it was for me before.
Yeah. I feel that way as well, too. I think that's also cultural. Yeah. Italian as well, too.
Well, if you think about it, though, we are the first women in our bloodline who have been able to
be creative,
have a dream, have success that we've had. Yeah. Be independent. Yeah. You know, that I was thinking like, oh God, I feel bad that I haven't, made more than what my dad made. And I was like, wait, I'm the first woman in my family that has made 6 figures.
That's amazing.
Like that's
incredibly substantial.
Powerful.
And huge. Yeah. And I also feel and with my aunt in particular who passed of cervical cancer. And didn't take proper care of herself and had issues with her fertility. And but also I'm so much like her, and I realize it now. Like, she was the life of the party, had so many friends, total shit kicker too. Like, you cross her the wrong way. She's like, excuse, you know what I mean? And like, we're very honest, very direct, and like I also feel like I'm living a lot that she couldn't, or my grandmother couldn't,
Right.
as well too. Same thing like you feel, like, just, I don't know, independence, comedy wise, everything. So yeah, it is profound. And that is like, and my mom even is like in awe of the fact that I have a life and career of my own.
Yeah.
She's like, it's so cool. Good for you. And like, and I've also like changed her mind on things I never thought I'd change her mind on just by being her child and stuff.
Same
which
with
is
my
crazy.
parents.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool that they're open to being influenced by us?
Yeah. It's very cool.
Yeah,
And
that's rare.
it is very rare for the boomer and Gen X generation to be like that. But yeah, and I also disagree with them a lot, and that's totally okay. And I've also learned what they were wrong about. And like, I had seen a quote that was like, your parents are also only living life for the first time too. So go easy on them. And I was like, God, that is true. They're only, even if it's terrible.
They're just kids.
They're just kids.
Do you
Like,
ever,
it's like, yeah.
so can I tell you a story?
Yeah, please. And then I want to hear your big yikes moment.
Oh, yeah. So when I was 27, I was going through a really hard time. I would say I was like pretty depressed. I mean, I literally called my mom and I was like, I know it will get better, but if I didn't know that, I wouldn't want to live. Like, it was that dark for me.
Yeah.
And I was walking in downtown Burbank, which I don't know if you've been there.
Yeah, probably. It's
outside of the Hawaiian barbecue. And I was talking to my mom on the phone and I said to her, oh my God, you're a person. I said,
Yeah.
the whole time you were raising me, you were a person who had problems and you were sad and you didn't know what to do. And you still had to be my mom.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. That must have been so hard.
It must have been a lot. Yeah.
And it's just,
yeah.
I don't know why it took me till that age to like separate myself. I think it was going through something as hard as I went through. But to finally be able to see like her humanity in addition to her role in my life, which is my mom, it was so profound.
Yeah. Well, I think it takes a while. I think you need to become self-sufficient as an adult where you no longer technically, quote unquote, need your parents. And then I think with that detachment, you're able to see them for what they are. But I've noticed it in the last 2 years from living with mine that I'm like, oh, they really like did their best. They really did their best. And they don't know any more than they really don't know any more than I do. And I don't know any more than they do. And they just like, and they're now seeing in their 70s where they could have done more or less or cared or didn't.
But they did the best they could with the knowledge they had.
That's it.
You know?
And they just operated from the place of their values and who they were as people and hoped for the best and tried the best. Yeah. Yeah. It's, I think you forgive yourself and you forgive your parents of a lot once you realize once you realize everybody's human, but your parents, once you realize like, oh, why did I ever expect you to never make a mistake? That's because they were your hero for so many years.
My little parents.
So
sweet.
This has been wonderful. I want to know the big yikes moment.
Oh my gosh, I have so many to choose from.
So
Most of them
my whole life is a big yikes.
Most of them are in my childhood. I mean, okay, I have a couple, so I'll let you choose. I'm going to give you A, B, and C.
Okay.
Okay, one is not understanding Gen Z and like having to look into it.
Okay.
B is my first period. And C is when I got my head stuck in a railing.
See.
No, really?
It's kind of a shorter story. I was so young.
Okay, D.
I want to know the first period.
Okay, so this story is absolutely going to horrify some people.
Okay.
I told my boyfriend earlier, and he was like, "Oh God, why do you have to tell me that?" So,
I picked the good one. Okay.
Yeah. So I was in 6th grade. It was toward the end of 6th grade. It was actually the last day of catechism to bring us full circle.
Oh wow.
Okay. I was wearing yellow, what my mom would call pedal pushers, what most people call.
What most people call capris.
Capri pants. Bright yellow capri pants, okay?
Yeah.
I had to get, like in gym class, you have to change into the gym uniform. So I was like changing back into my regular outfit and I went to the bathroom and I was like, oh, that's weird. Sorry, this is about to get gross. I was like, I wonder why there's like a poop stain in my underwear. I'm like, whatever. Might as well just go with it. And so I just keep going on with my day. And then like I keep seeing it though, and I'm like, that's so weird. Like I've never seen anything that really looks that way, but whatever. And so then I go to catechism because it's like it goes straight into catechism. So like I have to go right there after school. Still not doing anything about this progressing poop stain.
Yeah, that's getting bigger.
That's getting bigger, but I'm just like, wow, I guess I'm really not doing a good job with, how that whole maneuver goes with the wiping maneuver. Yeah. So I, go into catechism and like it's the last day. So the teacher's like, this is, by the way, so inappropriate. I feel like this is like my first, when looking back on it, real experience of sexism. Yeah. He went around and labeled all of the kids in the class, but like specifically focusing on the girls. And
disgusting.
He called a bunch of the girls chicks. He's like, he pointed to two of my friends, like, you're both chicks. Like, you're the cool girls. And then he pointed to me and said I was smart. And I remember feeling insulted.
Oh.
Isn't that interesting?
That's interesting that he didn't just call you a chick or a girl or whatever.
He said, you're smart, because he would always think I wasn't listening because I was talking, but I would say the right answer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I remember I walked into a biology teacher. I had toothpaste on my shirt. My biology teacher said, he goes, you have a fun morning? And he literally
He
literally made a cum stain joke. Yeah. And I was like, huh? And then like it kicked in and I told my mom raised hell at the school about that.
That is so sick.
Yeah.
So anyway, that happened. Then I got home and I finally got wise. Oh, I think I've had my first period.
Got it.
So I went into the closet, got out this like teeny tiny pad that I had seen there that my mom had left there and put it in. And my mom got back. She was like working. So she got back from work. And I'm like, Mom, please sit down. I got very serious. It got very somber. I'm like, please sit down. And she's like, what is it? And I'm like, I think please, like, don't freak out, but I think I had my first period. And then she starts crying. She's like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. We have to mark it on the calendar. And then she says this to me, Britt, and I still can never forget it. I'm so horrified by it. We have to save your underwear. I mean, horrifying. And I go, absolutely not. Please never say that again. And I'm like, just please be cool right now. I'm trying to like, to be cool. Like I was like, I was running a corporate meeting the way I announced my period. And then I said, and one thing, you can never tell Dad.
No, because obviously he doesn't know.
Yeah.
But this is what is going to happen.
I told him, you can never, as long as you live, you can never tell Dad.
The saving the underwear.
Oh my gosh.
Is exactly what is wrong with Italian parents.
Yeah, it's just too much.
It's too much.
It's too much.
That's something my mom would say too.
And it went all the way through the pedal pushers. The pedal pushers had to go in the trash.
That's the saddest part of this story.
Tragic.
My mom spent the rest of the evening calling every person
Were you
in
so horrified?
The family. Horrified. Mike, she got her period. Yeah. Donna, she got her period. Rosemary, well, all Italians are the same. Vito, Donna, Vincenzo.
Donna means woman. Sono una donna.
Sono una donna. And my mom spent all night announcing it like it was a press release.
Yeah, well,
literally.
Thankfully, she didn't do that.
She goes, wait, don't flush it.
Yes, thank you.
Goes, don't flush.
Did you want to take a picture?
Yeah.
Of course.
It's so weird. Italian mom's gonna chill the fuck out.
I mean.
Yeah. It was like, and she goes, oh my God, look at it. Yeah, that's it. And like inspected it. And I was like, that's the worst part of getting your period. You're like, I guess I gotta fucking tell somebody.
That was
like,
the worst part. I couldn't,
but
I was horrified.
That's horrifying.
But looking back on it, I feel so sad for my younger self because I'm like, I wish it could have just been like, oh, this is part of life. I felt so much shame.
I felt shame.
Yeah.
I felt weird. I thought something was wrong with me.
Right.
But I also felt cool too.
Yeah, because it wasn't too early. It wasn't too late.
I got mine early. I got the period before ever getting any tits.
Well, doesn't that usually
Still
happen?
waiting for those to come in. But I feel like a lot of other girls started getting like needing real bras.
I didn't need a real bra till I got my period.
Yeah.
I use a limited 2 sports bra. Thank you very much.
Hell yeah, you did. That's it. And you know what? They've never been so buoyant.
Yeah, that was when I was really living.
I love it. Where can people follow you? Tune into the pod. Everything.
Oh yeah. So you can follow me at Lograsso everywhere. And yeah, follow me everywhere. I'm gonna be doing public speaking in the next year and I do creative coaching. So please reach out and
she will be giving a TED talk on canned corn.
I will be
as well.
Please follow me.
Or the lack thereof.
For the corn revolution.
Amazing. I love you.
I love you.
Thank you. That was so good.